Lesson number 8 for May 18th. The Sabbath and Eternal Rest. The Sabbath is a place of refuge in a weary world. Each week, we leave the chaos of this world and enter God's retreat center, the Sabbath. The famed Jewish author Abraham Heschel calls the Sabbath a palace in time. From his book, The Sabbath, Its Meaning for Modern Man, page 12. Each seventh day, God's heavenly palace descends from heaven to earth, and the Lord invites us into the glory of His presence for this 24-hour period to spend a time of intimate fellowship with Him. In the introduction to Heschel's book on the beauty and solemnity of the Sabbath, Susanna Heschel, his daughter, writes of the significance of the Sabbath in these words. Page 15. The Sabbath is a metaphor for paradise and a testimony to God's presence. In our prayers, we anticipate a Messianic era. There will be a Sabbath, and each Sabbath prepares us for that experience. Unless one learns how to relish the taste of Shabbat, one will be unable to enjoy the taste of eternity in the world to come. At creation, Jesus built a special dwelling for us. We can find refuge there. We can be safe there. His work is complete. It is finished. When we rest on the Sabbath, we are resting on His loving care. We are resting in anticipation of our eternal rest and the new heavens and the new earth that are soon to come. As we read the following texts, note how thus keeping the Sabbath point us forward to eternity. Isaiah 65:17 says, "For behold, I create new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered, nor come into mind." Isaiah 66:22 and 23 says, "For as the new heavens and the new earth which I will make shall remain before me, saith the Lord, so shall your seed and your name remain. And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, says the Lord." 2 Peter 3:13 says, "Nevertheless we, according to His promise, look for new heavens and a new earth, wherein dwells righteousness." And Revelation 21:1 says, "And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea." The same God who created the earth the first time will create it again, and the Sabbath remains an eternal symbol of Him as the Creator. Isaiah 66:23. In fact, the Jews had seen the Sabbath as a symbol, a foretaste of what was called in Hebrew the Olam Haba, the world to come. The message of three angels flying through the heavens appealing for us to worship the Creator in heavens is heaven's answer to the hopeless despair of many in the 21st century. It points us to our Creator, the one who first made all things, and to our Redeemer, the one who will, after the judgment, after sin is eradicated, make all things new. Revelation 21:5 says, "Then He who sat on the throne said, Behold, I make all things new. And He said to me, Write, for these words are true and faithful." How can you personally make the Sabbath a foretaste of heaven in your own life and your family? From the book The Desire of Ages, pages 769 and 207, it says, "In the beginning the Father and the Son had rested upon the Sabbath after their work of creation. Genesis 2:1 says, "When the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them, the Creator and all heavenly beings rejoiced in contemplation of the glorious scene." Job 38:7 says, "The morning stars sang together, and all the sons of God shouted for joy." Now Jesus rested in the tomb from the work of redemption, and though there was a grief among those who loved him on earth, yet there was joy in heaven. Glorious to the eyes of heavenly beings was the promise of the future. A restored creation, a redeemed race, that having conquered sin could never fall. And brothers and sisters, that's the key to the reason why we exist, is we need to conquer sin so that we can never fall here on earth and absolutely in the new world to come. This is the result to flow from Christ's completed work. God and angels saw. With this scene, the day upon which Jesus rested is forever linked, when there shall be a restitution of all things which God had spoken by the mouth of all his holy prophets since the world began. Acts 3:21. The creation Sabbath, the day on which Jesus lay at rest in Joseph's tomb, will still be a day of rest and rejoicing. Heaven and earth will unite in praise as from one Sabbath to another, according to Isaiah 66:23. The nations of the saved shall bow in joyful worship to God and the Lamb. The demands upon God are even greater upon the Sabbath than upon other days. His people then leave their usual employment and spend the time in meditation and worship. They ask more favors of him on the Sabbath than upon other days. They demand his special attention. They crave his choicest blessings. God does not wait for the Sabbath to pass before he grants these requests. Heaven's work never ceases, and men should never rest from doing good. The Sabbath is not intended to be a period of useless inactivity, but as God ceased his labor of creating and rested upon the Sabbath and blessed it, so man is to leave the occupation of his daily life and devote those sacred hours to helpful rest, to worship, and to holy deeds. Have a wonderful day today as you look forward to the blessed Sabbath day rest in a couple of days. God bless.